So today we are working on the floating text. What is a floating text? Is when you hit this object and show the either hit point, score, or the damage point. So there are several steps we need to do. The first step is the floating text setup. This is the prefab for the canvas text setup. Then after we finish the setup, we need to spawn it at the hit point, hit location, or hit position. Then we need to change the score value dynamically. These are the major 3 steps. So first thing we need to do is create an empty object, and let's call it a floating text. And put in the 0. The next thing we are going to do is create a canvas in here, drag under it, and we need to also set to the world space because this will be a 3D object showing in the 3D world. And we set to the 0, 0, and we will leave this for now and create a UI text under it. We also need to put in 0. Put the width to 256, height to 128. I already tested this number. That's easier to see. And we leave this new text here. And we set to the 30 for the font size. We put it in the center, align to the center. Right now you can see in the theme the text is very big, so we need to make it small. And also we need to set a horizontal and the vertical overflow to overflow. Set the color maybe to the red and easy to see. We need to scale this down to about 0.1, 0.01, and that might be easier to see, but right now I still cannot see because it's hidden inside this object. So you need to drag that up, then you can see. And we are using the perspective camera, so when you make closer, it looks bigger, far looks smaller. So I think this is a good size in here. Just leave it for now. And we make this one as a prefab in here. We can delete this one right now, save the project. So the next thing to do, we need to spawn at the hit position. So we need to open the TapToBreakC the script and then make it editable right now. Turn this off, turn on this one. So under here we can spawn the floating text based on the position. So in here we need to create a public gain object, and we name this one as the same name, floating text. So we are going to spawn in here. Before we spawn, we will make a temp instance object in here. Let's call it floating text temp. So we start to spawn in this one, and we make a floating text temp equal to instantiate floating text. The position will be spawned at hit dot point, So this will be the hit position we want. We don't need any rotation, so we just use the quaternion identity. Don't forget to make this one spawn as a game object. We hit Command K to see the build. Okay, the compile. There's no compiling error. And then go back to the game. So in the camera, we need to drag this floating text in here. Save the project. Actually, we need to, we save the project, save the theme. Hit the play button. Click on here. Okay, so right now it can be spawned at somewhere. So going back to the game, next thing we need to do is make it can change the value dynamically. To change the value dynamically, we need to read the actual data. So we need to create another C# called a text reader to read the data from the data center, the hit point. Okay, so we open the text reader in here. We need to using the GUI text, so we need to write a using Unity Engine UI in here, and we need to create a public text. Wait, oh sorry, it should be here, public text, and then we call it a floating text. GUI. So in the start, we will retrieve the data right away. Floating text GUI dot text equal to data center hit point to string. Convert to string, then we can read it, and we don't need this one, so we just did it. Hit Command K to compile. No error. Going back to the game. Drag this one to the, actually no, we need to drag this one to the theme, and drag this text reader to the parent object. Drag this one to here, then it will update itself. See, it changed to 1000. Hit apply. Save the project. When we play the game, hit the button, you see, okay, you got a score. Each time per hit is 1000. That's the value you set in the data center script. So the last thing we need to do is make it auto destroy. We need to create a C# script called destroy timer. Open this one. This one is very simple. When in the start, we just destroy game object for 0.5 second. Remember, in here, if you set a 0.5, you need to put a float number in here, a float symbol in here, which is F. So we drag this one to the floating text, and it will destroy automatically after 0.5 seconds. Let's take a look. See? See? Okay, everything looks well. That's it.